dialing in from Europe. Thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Larry Medina. I'm head of Career Services, Corporate and Alumni Relations here at ESSEC Asia Pacific. And I'm really happy to welcome two distinguished guests that are alumni from our executive MBA program based here in Singapore. Before we dive in, just want to say that this session here is really to talk about what our guests have seen through the COVID situation and what the trends are coming out. So a bit of gazing into the crystal ball about where we think growth areas might be and careers and skills sets are heading as we exit the pandemic, which clearly might take a bit longer, but really looking to the growth areas of the future. So I'm really happy today to have Christophe Gonet, who is Director of Global Sales Performance and Management for West Pharmaceutical Services. I'll let him introduce himself in more detail in a minute here. And also Frederic Marcerou, who is Managing Director at Bollore Logistics, both based here in Singapore. And so to do more justice, I'd like the two of you to give a more in-depth introduction of who you are and your current role. Frederic, why don't you kick off for us?
Good afternoon or good morning, everybody. My name is Frederic Marcerou. I'm the managing director for Bollore Logistics here in Singapore, which is basically providing logistics services, import, export, international freight, warehousing, order preparation, and interacting in different stages of the supply chain of our clients. And being here in Singapore for sure, which is one of the big hub for Asia Pacific. So I've been working in the company for the past 16 years now, starting in the US and from there a few postings in Asia, in China, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, and now Singapore. And a few years ago, I had the opportunities to do an MBA from ESSEC. It was in 2017, and keep going with the rest of my career.
Great, thank you, Christophe.
Yes. A good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you're living now. So my name is Christophe Gonet. You can call me Chris if it's more easier to you. I'm working for this company called West Pharmaceutical. We're doing some primary packaging for injectable drugs. So very, let's say, at the curve of the news of today, of course. Working a lot with some companies like Medina and so on. My current role is really to work and to find some ways to increase the performance and efficiency of the commercial team worldwide, meaning salespeople and marketing people. But not only, so it's covering quite a wide range of activities. I've been working in the healthcare area for quite a while from the beginning of my career, I would say, a few years ago, a few decades ago now. And I did like Frederic did a few years back, so I was wondering what could be good for me to progress even further in my career. So the idea was to join the EMBA program at ESSEC Singapore Business School, which I did, and which helped me also to grow up in my career. But not only in my career, so different facets of my also personality as benefits of that. So it was very cool. And yeah, so today we have, as mentioning, we're working for injectable drugs area, so it's very busy period for the company. Too busy sometimes, and COVID-19 didn't help that much, in that sense. But you have to work differently to manage differently. So it's interesting period. Not for everyone, of course, but we are lucky to be in the right industry so far. So let's talk about that further, if you may do.
Okay, great. Thank you, Christophe. So I think before we start talking about some of the changes in the future that we're seeing, just to set a bit of context, I'd like to ask both of you. Today is the 3rd of April. So this time last year, we were heading directly into what we call circuit breaker in Singapore, but really it was a lockdown period in Singapore. And for both of you, for the businesses that you're managing, just maybe tell a little bit about what happened to your, maybe a bit about what happened to your job and what happened to the business that you were managing as we went into April, May, June last year. I think just to set context for everybody and they can better understand what you went through. Fred, why don't you kick it off?
It all started for me actually not on April 3rd, but on a date that I remember very well, which was January 28th, which was a weekend. So I hope the date is right, but it probably is. Anyway, it was the last weekend of it was the last weekend of January, which was Chinese New Year, the Chinese New Year weekend at the time. And we had a COMEX call on that Sunday, and looking at the situation in China and saying, okay, what do we do? What is going to happen, and how do we manage that? We were very far away from in our projection. We were very far away of what finally happened. So in February, okay, we were all looking at that unfolding and saying, okay, it's in China, and seeing that Singapore started to get impacted and having a few measures to implement. So to put it in the context for me, I'm managing a team of 1,600 people on 14 sites. And we have all those regional distribution center activity who are the heart of our clients' supply chain, and our clients being some of the leader in their field and Fortune 500 companies. So a lot of focus for us for the team, and a lot of focus from the client also asking us for direction and how are we going to manage that, etc. So going to there, we obviously the situation in Singapore didn't get better, and the government had to decide to do what they called a circuit breaker. And at that time, really, we had two main focus for us. The first focus was to the safety of our team. How do we protect the team? How do we protect the people? And the second was how do we stay open, and how do we ensure continuity of the operation. But the good thing with that is that we're in Singapore, so you always have a fantastic support from the authorities. Lots of contact with them on how, on showing them the plan and building our plan together. With twofold: safety of the people and continuity, and with lots of cooperation with the government, we've been able to, at the end of the day, not have one single day of lost activity. Which and so far, I knock on wood, but we had one case in the company where somebody was traveling outside. So we are so far we're very proud of the results. In some activities, it was scary to be honest, very scary to say, okay, from one day to the other, we're gonna have to do some work from home. Never tested before, at least on this scale. And there I have to praise the team, but I think more than praising my team, which is a fantastic team. I think the most of the country had a fantastic reaction. Most of the people everywhere in the world had a fantastic reaction, going back home, taking their laptop, making it work. Just making it work, showing fantastic agility, fantastic dedication, fantastic team spirit. At the end of the day, I had much less conflict to manage during this year than before, because people are getting together. So lots of agility, I would say.
Okay, great. Christophe, maybe tell us a little bit about what your journey was this time last year.
It's very, I would say, strange to try to remember what's going on this time, but I really remember the first decision we have to make, because I was organizing a big conference with our distributors in the region. So, and we called the guys, say, okay, what do you think? What do you feel yourself? You know, it was late Jan. So same period, the unknown situation worldwide. So we called them, each of them, to ask them, do you feel comfortable to come to Singapore, knowing the current situation, you know, in Asia? And finally, we decided to cancel the event for sure. It was the first big decision we have to make because a kind of yearly event that we proposed to set up the year for the distributors, but it was the first one. And after we say what will be very, as Frederic mentioned, so we have also a plant in Singapore that we need to cover for different operations. And you know, we have a lot of Malaysian workers coming across the borders and coming there. And then suddenly we were maybe 1/3 of our team able to be, you know, seated in a company and making the best to the operational part. So the first thing was to also to find a place for them, you know, because you have to be find an hotel, to find a nice place, to make sure they are keep a good mindset, because it's very hard to be some kind of nice jail, you know, in Singapore, and your families on the across the board. So I mean, we've made a very strong focus on the well-beingness, if I can say so, and trying that everyone, not only the employees working at the plant, but also all the people working from home. Well, lockdown means you have your family also to taking care of, which is not something very easy for most of the guys. Mainly if your spouse or your everyone is working at home. So we're focused and try to find a way also to make sure we can also give some technical support to everyone. Not only to have a nice connection, but to be able to buy some, you know, stuff for your desk, so on, to be better equipped to face this situation, which is quite new, but it was quite a difficult moment for everyone. A new paradigm, I would say, for all of us, but it developed some let's say, some areas of different competencies that probably will change for a while the way we're operating in the region and globally as well. Yeah, and we had a case. Most of our cases were in India, I would say. No one in Singapore. We have one in few cases in India because it was very impacted, as we say, and not that much in the rest of the globe. So quite well managed so far.
Okay, great. So Christophe, I'm going to stick with you for a sec because you mentioned different competencies. So I guess probably two questions. One is, you know, since the lockdown period, things have gradually, normal's the wrong word, but definitely changed, right? So we're moving back to normal. And so my question for you is, you know, what are you seeing with your business now compared to lockdown? And then because you mentioned different competencies, maybe also talk a little bit about, you know, do you think the skill sets that you see that have helped people thrive through this period, is that something new? And is that something that you expect to continue as well? The different types of skill sets, the agility, maybe being able to self-manage because you're a bit more remote. What, you know, where are you now in the business, and what types of skill sets do you think are most valuable for your staff?
Well, there are one first thing that is obvious for everyone. So we're in a period of more digitization of everything. So it does accelerate tremendously the move. So for sure. And I would say, for example, if you take marketing guys, this period, because we're in very traditional manufacturing business. So it's always it's not the Google or Netflix or this kind of companies. So we would change the way they are working, because no, we want some guys more focusing on knowing about the e-commerce, knowing about the social media or the digital tools that we have, because this is where we are today, because most of the people working from home or remotely, or team A, team B, this kind of approach. And we need to access the people and customer and prospect differently. So we want them to be more, let's say, agile in the way they're working. They need to have a continuous learning process as well on most of the, not only the tool, but also our product, a new way of selling the product as well, which is quite different from a usual face-to-face shaking hands meeting that we had in the past. It's still a good thing, but obviously it will happen less often. It's starting again in Singapore, but I would say the digital part changed really a lot the way we're working, for sure. And we have invested quite big resources. We have a digital center in Bangalore in India, and I think we have just doubled the resources there to be able to help the entire company, to operate properly. And we are finding other way, to manufacture our products in different directions. So I would say it's a new way of working. Not only for the guys who are working on a machine on a daily basis, but also the manager to work a different way. And I think also the human part, as we mentioned, is still even more important than probably before. Taking care of the people. Now you have to hire new people in your team in China, in India. You never met these guys, so it's a different way of. You need to put a lot of trust in the people you get on board. You need to find a way to make sure you will trust these people, because there's no way you can be close to them and to manage them directly as we used to do. So from an organizational standpoint, it will change. From a technical standpoint, it will change. And it's a new way of working. So it's also sometimes interesting, but as Frederic mentioned, we need more agility on the way we are operating and managing the people that we used to do in the past.
Okay, great. Fred, are you seeing different competencies? Are you looking for different competencies in the staff that you're hiring now?
They're going to have to know how to use Zoom.
Definitely.
We're seeing a big evolution in terms of business. All the lots of changes were on the way already. However, we had an acceleration of all those trends, whether it's in digital, e-commerce, sustainability as well. You had an acceleration on the past year, and what should have taken 3, 4, 5 years has taken 6 months. So for us, what we are seeing is definitely the big trend in everything that is sustainability. And how do you embed the sustainability in your operation? So it's also linked to the innovation and finding new ways to do things. The other big trend that we see also linked to this sustainability is now, for us, we took it very seriously, and we have to manage the progress we have made in the past with our solar panel, our energy policy. Now we are creating new positions to be able to manage this kind of tools and bring us to the next step as well, because we are seeing that this is really going to be the challenge of tomorrow. And I wouldn't say the challenge of tomorrow. It is a battleground it is today's battleground for sure. Now we are also seeing a big evolution of most of our historic position. So for example, in HR position, which is a position that exists for the longest time, now we are having some solution engineer and system engineer to manage the system and to make the system evolve, link it with other part of our business, because we don't want to have just a HR cluster, but we need to integrate the HR in the whole ecosystem. So in all positions, we're seeing a transformation on the way of working from people interaction to real system. We are seeing also a big evolution on our logistic operation. So on our logistic operation, is very classic. The logistic is going from people handling pallets, but now we're also managing multi-million dollars investment in terms of automation that we have to maintain, develop, and optimize as well. So we have more and more hiring on those fields of automation, artificial intelligence, blockchain, data lake, etc., is a whole transformation of the company. And this transformation is going with the transformation of the profile we are looking for.
Just out of curiosity, just a follow-on question for you is because, okay, sustainability is huge now, and then obviously automation, data management, etc. Are you closing those skill gaps through training of existing staff, bringing in more external staff? What's the mix between upskilling and bringing in new skills into the company?
I would say that is a combination. Is a combination of the above. We are engaged, and again, Singapore is a fantastic place for that. But we are engaged in a transformation of our workforce, of an upscaling of our workforce with training as much as we can. So we are using that extensively. But we're also recruiting on the new profile we are recruiting. That there is expertise that we don't have, and that we need to bring from the outside. So we are doing a lot of interaction and common program with the school, ESSEC being one of them, but also with some other school in Singapore, in order to make sure that we are keeping up with the game. The supply chain for us is becoming a very technical job. Yet, what we have to keep in mind is, aside those technical activities, it's also important, especially today, to work on the IQ part of it. Also, the emotional intelligence now is something that's even more important for me, even more important than before, because the social relationship are getting complicated, but they have not to be discounted. So they have to be reinvented, and we need people who are super sharp today on understanding, on the negotiation, on understanding the people difficulties, on working together, because we're working together on a scale that we have never worked together. You know, I mean, a year ago, doing a conf call was already a challenge for me. And now we're having this Zoom meeting or Teams meeting worldwide. It's getting systematized. So how do you manage that? How do you make the things progress? You still need this emotional side of it, not only the technical side of it.
Okay, great. Christophe, same question for you is, I guess twofold. One, it's this, we see this kind of in our conversations as well, from a career service perspective, that, you know, the increased need for soft skills, but also the deep technical skills. Are you seeing that on your side? And then the same question is, are you addressing that mostly through upgrading or through staffing? How are you addressing your skill needs right now?
I will have a straightaway response like Frederic. So we do both, depending on the kind of expertise we are looking for. Obviously, we build up on some foundation of the company. So we have salespeople or commercial people. Generally speaking, we have already, you know, good knowledge of the countries, of the company's product, and so on. We tend to skill them more than trying to find someone externally, because we are building on the past experience, which is very important. But same thing, even the training now are changed. You know, it's a new era. So we used to have some very basic, classic classrooms training on different skills, and negotiation is part of one. But now we need to find new ways to be more efficient on that. And a part of that, we are maybe more than ever looking for new expertise coming from the work labor, most generally speaking, so that we don't have yet, as we want to turn our company to a more modern company. In a sense, we need to bring back some guys who are more, I don't know, expertise in all the tools that we need to put in place. Can be manufacturing tools as well, but not only, just can be also, I was mentioning the e-commerce part, something we were working on, but we're also developing some, what we call the AFC, it's automation from cells, that we have everything like robots building the product for automatically for us. So different things coming on. True, it's been very accelerating a lot. And that's very important to understand that some people are quite ready for that. Some staff are not ready to move that direction. So it's a bit where we need to pay attention, in terms of that. And I never seen that much reorganization in my companies. We are going through the COVID pandemic, so it's quite an interesting part, but we tend to accelerate the decision process, whatever we can to communication tools, of course, something that is common today. Huh? So we can speak to 1,000 people at the same time every other day if you want to. But yeah, true. Can be, so it can be also the side effect of that. Too many calls on Zoom or Teams, but that's the way we should move on. So I think we tend to see, and we see it's funny to see that we have, I was mentioning, some two categories of people who are ready, to move on and eventually to change the way they're working by learning new skills, new competencies. And some people, they are more, not really keen to do this important, change in their career, I would say.
So Chris, one next question would be around, so we've talked a bit about skills, but just in general, obviously healthcare has been front and center this last year, but what areas of growth are you seeing for your business? Are there areas that you're going after right now, or are there things that you're planning to do within the next 1 to 2 years? So really just trying to give the audience a feel for, where do you see the growth at?
But healthcare is always something very crucial, We're talking about what is important in our life is education, healthcare, the two main pillars, I would say. And what we see more and more is, for example, telemedicine development, which is an area this is very key. And in Asia, is booming like crazy. And for very obvious reasons, because, if you're locked down at home, in India, for example, how do you go and see your doctor to get medicines or to know more about eventually your disease? So that's a very boost area for now. But not only because all the also medical devices that are using more IoT technology and machine learnings or this information that can help also to take a faster decision. But we have seen development of the vaccine recently, and they're using massive data to accelerate, development phase. So that's quite important things. And I would say everything, even the patient is really, really well informed now. So we need to find a way to give the right message and the right communication to the patient, because you go on the internet and you Google whatever you want, you can have any explanation from A to Z. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's nonsense. So it can be a bit dangerous sometimes, but the fact is it changes also the way you guys should communicate to the patient to their wellness. And this has changed quite a lot. So again, we need to be very agile, to be ready to jump onto different skills Everyone has his area of expertise, of course, but we need to maybe focus on that, I would say, and work on your weaknesses to correct that as fast as possible, because the pace is probably faster than 20 years ago, and competition, work labor competition is quite hard now, more and more. So we need to be equipped to face this new generation of workers coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So Fred, actually logistics has sort of been front and center as well. So same question to you. What areas of growth are you seeing in your business or beyond your business? And what opportunities do you think are worth pursuing maybe over the next 1 to 2 years as well?
We're seeing a lot of changes, and in those changes there is always opportunity, but there is also always some risk. I would say that we are seeing a big transformation of the retail sector with the e-commerce and the direct deliveries to people. That's definitely something that's there, and that's gonna continue in the future. We are seeing a lot of brands also that are more and more local brands and local champion, instead of the big multinational that we have seen so far being leaders on their own market. Supply chain and logistics is today at the top of the news, I would say, which is something that's very strange very strange for us. We are not used to have so much sunlight, I would say, but that's also for me an area that will grow, because lots of people have seen that supply chain need to be robust as well. And maybe today it is not robust enough, and we've seen that again last weekend with just a ship in the middle of a canal blocking a large part of the world economy. So I think it's something that we all have to think about and say, how do we make something more robust, maybe less global and less optimized, and maybe we are too much optimized today. That's also a possibility. How do we come to something that is more robust?
Okay, great. Next question is, so again, for our audience, if they're considering additional education, postgraduate degree, both of you received your EMBA a few years ago. You know, what advice would you give to somebody? Let's just use MBA or executive MBA. What advice would you give to somebody that's going through that thought process right now? And maybe you can talk a little bit about your thought process when you decided to go back and get your degree. Fred, why don't you start off and give us your advice for somebody thinking about an EMBA?
I remember. For me, I'm remembering it as one of the best time in my life as well. Very enjoyable. I had the pleasure to be with Christophe also for everybody to know. We have quite good memory. I mean, we have quite good memories from this time. Not always easy. Lots of work for sure, but lots of discovery, lots of forward thinking, and plenty of good moments as well between us. I think Christophe touched base with that a little bit earlier. We are entering in a situation today where on the job market, we're not going to have to compete only with our countrymen, but we're going to have to compete with the world. So for me, education, self-improvement and continuous education is paramount to be able to develop our career. We are seeing the skill set needed today that are ever growing. So us as leaders and as managers, like everybody else in a company, we need to keep up to date, and we need to know more and understand more. I will give you a very simple example. On that is for me in a position in a position like mine. 20 years ago, nobody had to speak in public. Nobody had to speak with the media. Nobody has to manage cyber attack. Nobody has to focus on the communities and the CSR, etc., etc., etc. So our job, and I think all the jobs are getting more and more complex. And in order to be able to attend to those jobs, we need more and more skill sets. So I would encourage everybody to carry on with a continuous education.
Okay, great. Chris, maybe give us your thoughts on your journey and what you'd recommend to somebody thinking about getting a postgraduate degree.
No, but I think Frederic mentioned that very well. So another competition is hard. So we need to upskill ourselves. I would say during the course of maybe an MBA or EMBA, but even after that, we still continue to learn by ourselves as much as we can, because first you have to be curious for sure, and then you need to have the right mindset to be able to continue and to progress, along your career. So it will not stop when you reach a position you would like to get, but you will continue. And what I was saying, so my advice is really everyone is joining MBA or EMBA has already some strong, expertise. Some domains can be finance, can be marketing, can be other ones, whatever. But this is good. I mean, this is great. It will help the group to learn more, to share more experiences on that. But this is where you need to work on your weaknesses. And I know that I was very, let's say, not very good at finance or some other stuff like this. So I jump into it and make sure I can now talk to the CFO of the company without better knowledge, of what was answering to my question than it was previously. So it's a short period of time of your life. So you need to jump in and make the most of it, So this is what you need to really enjoy all the moments you spend together with your classmates. So you learn at the same time. This is the beauty of this kind of program. So you learn as much from the program, from your teammates. So and that everyone has their own experience. Own difficulties can be professional, can be personal, and this is where you can grow up very quickly and in better way. So I recommend the guys to jump and to see where they are. Should be more efficient and more productive somehow, and jump into it. And then
just a follow-on question, because you mentioned specifically finance. Were there other areas of development that you focused on as you went through the program? Other skills that you were trying to address?
Quite a lot, because I arrived coming back a few years ago. I was kind of expert in my domain, so it was more sales and marketing effectiveness or commercial excellence. So there are a lot of areas like supply chain, and today, I know it's very fancy today, but sorry, Frederic, we have to healthcare supply chain. You took to both, let's say, industries that are top of the news so far, but now you have to understand, and know when, I even know with the COVID, I never had so many meetings in supply chain in my life. The last 12 months, and you have some shortage. You need to prioritize for the customers. You need to know what is best and when you need to put your resources and so on. So it's you have to know which work, and then you can discuss and make your business growing faster or preserve some customer in the same way. So it's some areas like this that were completely unknown from me, except that what is supply chain. On the big line, not in details, but I would say finance, supply chain, this kind of areas are being very useful to me. But not only because I know that we since then we developed an e-commerce portal, and it's because we have been working on the digital marketing as well, and it's helped me a lot to give advice to the guys to move on the right direction. we need some, you know, I was mentioning quite a couple of times that we are kind of orchestra driver, you know, in our business, and we need to understand how each instrument is working in order to optimize the way they can work together and create a nice symphony or better result for the company to make it more, let's say, business oriented in the comments.
I understand. Fred, a similar question for you is, was there an area of development that you were looking for, or that you think you got during the program that's helping you today?
So for me, I did the program when I was 45 years old, or a little bit more, something like that. And I had already 10 plus years experience of entity management, covering most of the business that we have done. The marketing, the supply chain, the finance, doing the budget, doing the strategies, the long-term plan, short-term plan, etc. What I really enjoy with the program is that it helped first to give me the latest technique and trends on those all those business pillars, and it also helped to reorganize in my to put it on the right sequence in my mind, actually, where more or less I knew or I thought I knew most of it, and it really helped me to rebuild a new base, actually, because you know, when you're 45 years old, yes, you have 20 years experience in working, but you didn't go to school for the past 20 years, and in the past 20 years, the world has evolved. Is as simple as that. So it was very important for me to put a second layer, a second base, as simple as that. So I had my degree when I was much younger, and there I had the MBA helped me to have a new base and more modern base as well, with all the design thinking, all the startup work, which was very interesting to discover this world, their way of thinking, their issues. It's just, and overall, it's just enriching you on new knowledge. That's most of them. I mean, a vast majority of them either give you a broader view, either you can or you can apply directly into your daily life.
Okay, great. Next question, I'll start with Fred here, is, you know, so for somebody graduating from ESSEC with a postgraduate degree today, I mean, it's extremely dynamic situation, tons of information, it's easy to apply for jobs. How do you recommend somebody stand out? Like, how do they get themselves noticed today and actually get a job? What's your recommendation?
I'm very sad about the situation, because I think it's tough. Okay, and we did support. I mean, we did quite a few webinars like that with young grads or people entering the job market. You know, like generally we do that once or twice. I mean, I do that once or twice a year, and my team is doing that every quarter in different institutions. But when you have this physical contact, you already. I think you have much more chances to be recognized by interacting, by doing something, by interacting with the people directly. When you do that on the Zoom, it's much colder. I would say it's much colder. The second thing is that in today's situation, we are receiving hundreds of applications on LinkedIn, through the normal channel, through email, on a monthly basis, and because of this volume, is very difficult to be managed. Yet there is hope. First of all, there is hope because the company continue to hire and continue to hire fresh grads. So I would say that the market is not frozen today on this part. And this is the positive news. Most of the company are still working on their future. Most of the company thinks that the situation will recover quickly in 21 or 22, but will recover quickly. So are preparing the future. So are hiring young grads. So I would say that like many things with the COVID, it doesn't change a lot. It's just a little bit more difficult. So I encourage everybody to try to be innovative, inventive, find some alternative, reach people. I know it's very difficult to reach people, but try to really engage the people. Sending another email is sometimes I'm not sure is very valuable, but trying to meet people or get a call from somebody or use a third party for that, I think is a way to go today.
Okay, great. Chris, do you have any thoughts about how to stand out in this dynamic, crowded marketplace right now?
No, I think I do think that the network of alumni is quite a good way also to reach out to some people. I've seen that quite recently. So obviously, we received too many, mails say, yeah, I'm looking for a job and blah, blah, blah. So I think the important thing is if you have a chance to have a contact with someone, you will only have one chance. So you need to be prepared to that and to have some punchline, on your speech that to make sure that you get the point strictly and straight away, and you can mark the spirit of the guy. Say, okay, I got this guy on a call. He's quite good on this, so maybe it could be interesting for this job and so on. So yeah, one chance. When you get the chance, don't miss it. Quite important. And as Frederic mentioned it earlier, every changes bring is a bunch of opportunities also at the same time. When the company is reorganizing because they're growing up or they die something, or we need some new capabilities to join the groups at the same time. For sure. And I would say, like, just an advice, very simple, when you have a Zoom, you need to be prepared, you need to be dressed up, you need to be clean, have a good sound, a bit, not like me, not a crap, light on the face. But no, it's just take the chance what is coming. And the people are nice, genuinely, if you have a meeting with someone, the aim is to help the guys, to help someone who is looking for a job. So if it's not in your company, it can be in another company, some guys that in your networks, it's a bit different. So don't be shy, try to reach out. Don't be offended if someone is not replying to you. That's life, it's just keep going and target the company you want to work for. That's the first step, You need to know what you want to do and for who, which is, the value of the company that fits to you, and that's why you want to join this company, most likely. It's not always reaching the check with the most of dollars that is the main importance. We need to start the journey with the first miles, But Lao Tzu used to say that. So it's a quite important step.
And I think if I may add on Christophe on that, yes, we are not always answering that for sure. However, in today's situation, we all know it's tough, and we all looking at other people with a very favorable eye. So when we can help, we do help, and we do the extra mile, and you're seeing that more and more actually in the company where people are trying to take care of each other. So you see much more solidarity than what you can than what I can have seen in the past.
Okay, great. we're getting close to the end, but I'm going to take a couple of questions from the audience, if you don't mind. This one's for Fred. It's when you're talking about sustainability earlier, somebody is asking, what are the skills that you associate with sustainability? Are there specific skills, or is it more kind of a frame of mind that you apply to existing skills?
Yes, so for us, sustainability is, and I've seen I wanted to clarify. So sustainability is everything that is related to mostly to carbon emission. Transportation and logistics is by nature a polluting industry, with the ship, the plane, the truck. So now our goal is to say, okay, how do we do that better? How can we do it better without most of the time compromising the quality of service or the time to market or the client's requirement? So on that, we have two approaches. We have a first approach on ourselves, what we call scope 1 and scope 2, which is what we emit for ourselves. And there we are being very cautious on our electricity. How can we have a sustainable source of electricity? For example, we put solar panel on the rooftop of our building. From there, we have electric vehicle, and those electric vehicles do the deliveries in the city. So implementing a solution like that is reducing the carbon emission. On the scope 3 for our client, what we do is that we do some flow engineering to say, okay, today you're using this kind of supply chain with air freight, with the stock here and there. How can we rethink everything, not only on the efficiency and maybe on the stock level or on the time to market, but on also taking into consideration the carbon emission you can have. So that's very vast skill set that we need, is from energy management to flow engineering to mechanical engineers, but also always focus on this target of reducing the carbon emission.
Okay, great, thank you. Let me take one question. I'll direct this one to Chris. I'm going to change it up a little bit, but so how difficult is it to plan ahead your business strategy, obviously given the dynamic situation? And has the situation made you more risk adverse? I guess because there's a lack of clarity. So how difficult is it to plan ahead right now?
It's a very tough question, because we are a listed company, so risk averse is not something that we would like to hear on a regular basis. No, it's quite. I'm not sure I'm the right guy to mention that, because we have obviously we have a strategy, because every company has a strategy. But to your point, I think we used to have a strategy to 5 years, 10 years, and I would say now it's more a short-term strategy. So we need to jump and to react to all the what's going on in the world, So same thing tomorrow, if we have some issues with the logistic that we use for carrying a product. I don't know any companies, no name for companies, but whatever. We need to react and make sure what we do more and more is to work on more risk mitigation so far. Make sure we don't have only one product which is done in one plant on the west part of the globe. We're trying to do some other ways to mitigate more the risk in case we have a second pandemic coming. And as Frederic mentioning, we also foresee more and more less internalization of our operation, but our focus is more on the region, region for region. Then we preserve some kind of autonomy of the region, if I can say so. Say region, it's Asia Pacific, so it's quite a big one, for sure. But strategy is quite clear. For the company, there's no point on that. We may have some hookup, for sure. After, it's quite clear in the mind of everyone, and you also every time you have the worst scenario and the best scenario, and you plan the thing in between. You know, that's the way we are working. But I would say we need to move on. We cannot stop there and waiting for something getting better. So we need to make sure we have a good mindset, good mood of the employees, a good mood of the stakeholders, good mood of the shareholders, and and we're moving in that direction. So, but employees, I think we are very strong focus more and more on the employees for sure. And I would say it's probably thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, because we may have lost this idea of human being, you know, that is guys who are producing the goods that we are seeing across the world. So that's quite a good, a positive impact, I would say, of the COVID-19, if we can find one.
Right. In my former life, I remember doing 5-year plans, and I can't imagine trying to do a 5-year plan right now. So
we do 5-year plan every year, you know. We do 5-year plan every year, so it's not really a 5-year plan. So.
Okay, we are getting close to the end, so just a few more minutes. I think I just wrap up, give both of you a few minutes just to give your final words of advice to our audience if you have any final thoughts. So Fred, why don't you kick it off, and if you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with everybody.
Yeah, as you know, for me, what's really the future here is, and what we can see is the people, and it's the people who's going to make the difference. The skill set are important, but the interaction between people, the understanding of each other, this is where the big difference and the big stake of tomorrow are. The second one for me, I would say, is I mean, we heard this word probably too much for the past few months, but it's agility. You might have a 5-year plan, but you're probably going to have to change it. So there we're coming back to the people. So we need to have a strong team that are able to react, that are motivated, that are behind the company and making it happen. Because today this agility is not coming from strategy or from this agility is coming from the people. So for me, the two are very much linked. Now and the last one is we're still standing. It's tough. It's been tough, but there is a lot of difficult situation all over the place. Yet we are still standing. We are still standing as communities, as companies, as group, and there is no reason this change if we keep our agility and taking care of one another. So let's carry on.
Okay, great, thank you. Chris, final thoughts, final pieces of advice.
Yeah, we said agility, of course, because we have to be movable and trustable, so it's quite important. And I will add maybe resilience, because we are talking about that. It's very tough for people to be seated all day long behind the screens. Yeah. We need to find a way to create this collaboration and find a link to the community in whatever mean you can use. But the human relationships are even more important now than probably in the past. And we need to work on that, make sure that we have our employees are in a good shape, good mindset. Nobody's there's too many fatigues or Zoom fatigue or whatever, and find a good direction. So I was talking to guys, one of my friends yesterday working for a financial services company, and the CEO just announced in his company that all the Friday afternoon will be free for all the employees. So he wants to make sure that nobody is opening, a computer, any device that can interfere in your well-beingness period of time. which is good. And probably we will change the way we're managing this kind of organization. It'll be a new era for sure.
Okay, great. So great to wrap up on resilience, agility, and human connections. With that, I'm hoping that next year when we have this conversation that we hopefully can do it in person. So let's hope that happens. But for today, I just want to thank both of you, Chris and Fred. Thank you so much for being here. I'd like to thank our audience for joining us this afternoon. And yeah, just thanks to everybody. Aaliyah, do you have a few final words that you'd like to say before we close the session?
Yes, thank you, Larry. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Just a quick reminder that for our next and last session for today's MBA Day and Postgrad Career Forum 2021, it will take place next. So just click on the link that we shared on the chat section, and we hope to see you on the next session. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, everyone.